Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're on Money Mondays with Jeff, where we talk to a dope financial professional and we get some strategies on how to close the wealth gap here in America. We are with Miss Shadé Adu, who is an all around dope financial professional. She has a plethora of things going on, including being an author, a digital creator, and we're going to talk about digital marketing and digital magic and how you can use that to, add some coin into your portfolio. So let's welcome Miss Shade Adu to Money Mondays with Jeff. Hello, Shade. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm happy to be here.
I am so happy that you're here too. I'm so happy and grateful that I get the opportunity to kind of chop it up with you. I don't take this time that you've given us lightly. So let's just dive in because I know the audience wants to know how they could get that digital coin rolling and how they can make that digital money. And you are the special expert that's going to help us and give us some strategies today on how we can incorporate some of this digital into making some money so we can be able to close this wealth gap here in America. So, could you tell our audience a little about you and why you are so special in your magic?
So, I'm Dr. Shadé. I am originally from New Jersey. I think that makes me special already.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Jersey in the
uh,
house.
Jersey is in the house, and my mission is just to help people, help women entrepreneurs live their best lives and maximize them. And the way that we're able to do that is through being able to make money from anywhere around the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just the ideas in our head can turn into wealth. And that's a beautiful thing. Can turn into money that we can utilize for wealth. And that's just a beautiful thing. And it makes me excited and pumped to help people. So that's where the core of my magic comes from, a true and sincere dedication to other people and wanting to support them and help them out.
I love that. I love that. But so, can you share like what sparked your initial passion, right? For being like a digital brand strategist. And really, like, what was the energy behind helping other women entrepreneurs succeed online?
So this I was inspired almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was living in the Republic of Kazakhstan and I was an
Whoa,
educator.
whoa, whoa,
I was
whoa, 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 whoa. Back up a little bit. You was living where?
I was living in the Republic of Kazakhstan. So I lived in Central Asia for 3 years. And that's where I actually started my business. I started it overseas. And I was an international educator. I was traveling the world. I was living my best life in my mid 20s to early 20s. And there was more for me to do. I was inspiring people. I was sharing it on social media. People wanted to know, like, why did you leave the US and how did you do what you were doing? And I just wanted to inspire people and let them know that they could live beyond their surroundings. You can do more. Like, there's a bigger world outside of the United States, and the world is really your oyster, and you get an opportunity to be great. Now, then I wanted to turn this into a business, but I had to realize, like, you got to make money. You can't just be inspiring people and being motivational. Like, you can do it too. That's great. But you had to learn how to market and advertise and brand and package it. So that's where I went down this rabbit hole of branding and personal branding and marketing. Because after I stopped getting them good oil money checks, listen, I like I like being paid consistently. I like that. I like, I loved that. So that would, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not getting paid no more. Like, when you quit your job, I resigned from my job a month before I started my business, a month after. And I had to figure out how to make money because the money wasn't coming in no more. You're running out of savings, you know. I I was going back to school to get my PhD. So I was doing an international relocation back to New Jersey and then a regional relocation from New Jersey to Wisconsin, all in a matter of about 60 days. And you need money to do those kinds of things. And again, I left my job. So I was like, oh, we got to figure this thing out. And that's where this passion and love for marketing came from. I realized that you have to sell things to people, you have to ask to be paid, you have to be compensated for your brilliance, and you really have to take it to the next level if you want to be in business. And if I wasn't going to do that, I was going to have to figure out something else. And I was like, I can't figure out nothing else. This has to work.
Has to work or it has to work, right?
Hmm.
So I see that you have achieved on like, and you've had success on multiple fronts. I know that you're an author. I mean, you are a doctor. So, I mean, that is a great accomplishment within itself, going through that whole journey of, getting, your doctorate and everything. You have conferences that you've planned, you a digital brand strategist. You have succeeded and have success on so many different multiple platform. So, how has this definition for you being a digital brand strategist, a digital brand coin maker, like how has that evolved over your career?
I actually started out in business as like a career coach and a life coach,
Okay.
because I was really great at helping people. It was about living their best life and also helping people make career decisions. People were coming to me about whether they were going to live internationally. I was doing my, like, family members' resumes. So people, and I could do college essays, and people just knew I knew how to do those types of things. So that's what they came to me first off for. Then I started making my own websites, building landing pages, really tapping into digital marketing. And people began to start asking me about that. And the question began, instead of like how to live my best life or how to help my career, they kept saying, well, how did you build a brand? How did you build this brand? And at some point, I began to listen to people, because this is the thing. If you want to get paid, listen to what people are telling you they want to pay you for. That's an indication. And I said, they keep saying I know how to do this branding thing. I don't understand why. And then I did some self-reflection. When I was a kid growing up in Irvington, New Jersey, I used to work on municipal, gubernatorial, and even presidential campaigns. I learned marketing from politicians.
Right.
I learned we were going
Talk
door
a
to
little,
door
talk a little bit, talk a little bit about that. Like, you learned marketing from
from
politicians.
politicians before I was able to vote. So
Okay.
as a teenager, while some people might be working at McDonald's and they was working retail, I was working political campaigns because they paid you $10 an hour, maybe $8 to $10 an hour at that time. And again, this is like 20 plus years ago, and I'm a kid. So that was my lunch money. I would register people to vote. I would knock on doors. I would monitor political campaigns. I would canvass phone bank. I would be in the campaign offices with people. And I was able to meet presidential candidates. I was in meetings with the governors of the state of New Jersey. And again, this is before I could vote. So I didn't realize that this thing that we just did as kids, because my mentor was a councilwoman in our community. So I didn't realize this little side hustle that we were doing as kids was teaching me about branding and marketing. So yeah, I saw campaign slogans. I saw them on TV. I saw how they talk to people and how they navigate questions and how they marketed themselves as a candidate. I went to, debates. This is what we did in Irvington, New Jersey. So and then that also I took that skill set to college. I was campaign managers. I ran for student government. I was doing the slogans and the graphics and all that stuff before we had Canva. I was making those things as in my early 20s and as a teenager. So I realized that I had been born to do this work. I had been doing it for a long time. And now I was just understanding that it was now called branding. Before it was like reputation management. But then we got a new name. We're building a brand. So I learned a lot of that from politicians, like looking at Bill Clinton and how he shakes people's hands. There's a whole branding element to that. Looking at the Barack Obamas and the Hillary Clintons and the governors and the municipal people on a local level really helped me understand how to connect with people and how to market.
So if you had to look back and say, what was your biggest marketing lesson that you learned, learning from those politicians, what do you think it would be?
So, some people have actually asked me to consult on political campaigns, and I'm like, I am not, I have not done that in a long time. But if it's local, the short answer is it's a numbers game. And that's the same thing with marketing online. It's a numbers game. If you know the data, if you have data about a municipality and how many people actually vote and how many people show up, the age ranges, the demographics, the people, what they're interested in, what they don't like, we have decades and decades of this data. If you can follow the data and you understand what it takes to win, because we want to win elections, sometimes we lost, but I want to be on winning teams. What it takes to actually win based on data, you can be successful because it's a numbers game. And sometimes it comes down to you just getting people to the polls and making them vote on that specific day. So that, I would say, it's a numbers game. Like, you really need to know your data and you need to know your numbers.
Your Money Mondays with Jeff. We are talking here with digital strategist, entrepreneur extraordinaire, Dr. Shadé Adu. I'm sorry, and we're talking about marketing, and we're talking about digital strategies, for creating generational wealth. And one of the things I wanted to ask you is like, when you look at this digital marketing and you look at how it relates and how it can enhance someone's and their ability to create generational wealth, what do you think is some of the key components that's needed to make that connection and then be able to scale that connection as well?
Absolutely. So you have to activate your brand trifecta. If you're going to be building a business on the internet and not just be a consumer of content, you need to build a brand. And the first thing is you need to get clear about you. Who are you, what you do, why you do it, and how you do it. You need to be very clear. Like Jeff, the wealth builder, is very committed to helping first generation wealth builders build wealth through cash value life insurance. You know how I know that? Because he's built a brand around it. He's very clear and he stands on it, right? So you got to be clear about who you are and why you do it. Like, why are you so passionate about what you do? We can't sleep at night because we're committed to seeing people grow. We're committed to seeing their next level of success. We want people to win. So you got to share that with people. The next piece of this is you got to be clear about the people you want to serve. You
Mm.
cannot serve and talk to everybody. Okay.
You mean I
In a
can't help
season like
everybody?
in a season like this, I put a post up. It was for myself, for a client, for anybody who needed it. You got to talk to people in a season like this when we have this R word called a recession, where people are making different financial decisions. You have to be strategic about who you work with. And I'm going to be honest, you need to work with people who have money, who have disposable income, who can make investments, who they're not, on their last dime and dollar. You have to, if you are committed to building wealth and helping other people take it to the next level, you got to work with people who have money so that, and you have to operate from an overflow so that when you decide that you want to be philanthropic, you can give back from your overflow and not from your lack. You got to have something in your cup if you're going to be able to support other people. Super important. So you got to get clear about who those people are, what they like, where they live, what they do, what they hate, what their problems and challenges are. Data. You got to talk to people and see what resonates with them. But you got to know who you are first. The next thing is you got to have something to sell. So I tell entrepreneurs all the time, we are not just internet content creators. We're not there doing the TikTok dances trying to look cute. Our content, our mission, it has a goal, a message. There's monetization attached to what we do. So you need to have an offer. What are you selling? What can people pay you for today? What are the things that they're interested in? You got to make sure that you are making that happen. It's
So
very
true.
important.
That was powerful. That was what we call a bar. That was a bar right there. That was a financial gold bar right there. I was reading over your bio, and you have like developed a great strategy around income, around influence, and around impact. And this is a philosophy that you've used to kind of build your digital profile and build your digital brand. Could you talk a little bit about, income, influence, and impact, and how you have helped clients enhance all three of those areas?
So the influence comes first. You got to have people. So I'm working on this new concept. It's called the art of influential leadership. If you want people to follow you, you
Hold on,
have to
hold
be
on, hold on,
influential.
hold on, hold on. You just that we got to pause right there. You just that's not no speed bump right there. That was powerful, and you just trying to go over that real quick.
This is a new
Back
concept
that
I'm
thing
playing
up.
around with. You guys are getting exclusive, okay?
That's right. Break that down so people can understand like where you're going with this.
So, part of the next iteration of my life and business is to work with leaders. And part of being a leader is being a thought leader. You got to have something that you think about that people believe in and buy into. And this goes back into influence. So, I said that it's an art form. It's the art and it's a science, but there is a method or framework to becoming influential. And if we want to be successful in a marketplace or in a boardroom, if we're in corporate, we have to be influential and we have to ascend into leadership. So you got to get people to buy into the things that you believe in. So if we're looking at Jeff's brand and we're practicing the art of influential leadership, part of what he wants us to believe and buy into is cash value life insurance. I'm using his brand as your brand as a case study. Cash
Yes.
value life insurance. And we have to buy into this belief, and everyone around you, the community that you're creating of those first generation wealth builders, have to believe that this is the vehicle, that this is the pathway, that this is the answer to building wealth for them generations and generations beyond them. But it requires a powerful, charismatic, influential leader that can lead people into that direction. And they have to buy into it. You have to have those people, I'm going to say followers that believe this thing too. But they have to
So
see
so
it
so
that you
so let's
embody.
so let's use let's use me as a test dummy, right?
Mhm,
We're gonna use test dummy in this approach right now. I'm passionate about cash value life insurance as being an income
mhm,
replacement vehicle, and also an asset acquisition vehicle for Black and Brown individuals, people who look like me.
mhm.
Close the wealth gap here in America. Charismatic leader. What are some of the things I should be doing more to help spread and help that message become more impactful, and more importantly to get more ambassadors that will believe in the message to help push that message forward.
So there's a couple of things, but what I will say is being consistent with the messaging is the first piece of this.
Okay.
You have to, most people who are marketing, they get tired of saying the same thing over and over. But we have to realize that our message hasn't pierced the hearts and the minds of our ideal audience until they hear it over and over and over and over again. That's why Beyonce can go to 52 different cities and do a world tour and do the same routine over and over and over again and have $1 billion empire. We
Yep.
got to be willing to do the same thing over and over and over. But unfortunately, we creative and we get bored and we tired of saying the same thing over and over. You have to say the same thing over and over. You got to be having a commercial for yourself. And in this marketplace, our audience is already inundated with marketing messages. We see, I forgot what the number was, like tons of marketing messages every single day, thousands
Yep.
upon thousands of marketing messages every single day. So before people would say it takes 7 touch points to get in front of your people, it is taking about 50 plus touch points for people to even pay attention to you. So most people are not clear about their message, their marketable marketplace message, and they're not committed or consistent with saying the same thing over and over. That's how we get influential. Once we get influential, we have to have the fuel. We have to have the cash flow because we got to make money in order to create massive impact. Impact comes with visibility. And if we want to be more visible, we got to make more money because you need money to build your team. You need money for paid advertising to make investments. So first, it's the influential leader and that influential marketable message. And then we get the cash flow because if the message is good, somebody's going to buy into it. Somebody's going to pay you for it. And the way you know your message is good is that people pay you. Just like comedians know if their messaging, if their comedy sketch is good, people are laughing, your indication is they paid you. So you need to get more people to pay you. Keep saying the same things over and over. Get more people to pay you and allow those people to be multiplied. Get their friends to come in. Get other people like them because birds of a feather flock together. So if you have a specific archetype, they 9 out of 10 times know somebody else is like your people. Get them to buy into it. So now we have a movement behind this marketable marketplace message. So now you're selling things, you're having events, you're doing trainings, and people are flocking to you because your message is piercing their hearts. So now they're paying you. Okay. It doesn't happen immediately sometimes, most of the time, but now they're paying you. And now you can reinvest that into your visibility. Influencers got to be visible. If you don't got nobody that's following you or paying attention to you, you're not an influencer. I'm sorry to tell you that. So you got to get the income and then the impact happens. So when we talk about massive impact and massive visibility, I'm thinking about an Angel Reese because she had massive impact. She was an influencer at her school. She got the income up because of her influential leadership. She was able to get these NIL deals, endorsement deals, talking to Shaq, getting all these opportunities. Then the impact is coming. We're going to be able to see the effects of her joining the WNBA and what's that's going to do to incomes in the incomes in the WNBA. What is it going to do for women in sports? The impact is residual. It's coming. But she had to be a visible leader first. Then the endorsements came. Now we're going to be able to see the impact. And there's other people that we can use, as case studies as well. But the people that you pay attention to are the people you can see. That's why they make money. That's why they get paid. And a lot of us sometimes, let's be clear, get mad because there's people that saying the same thing we're saying, but they have the visibility. So the visibility has elevated their influence. Because they have elevated influence, they have elevated income. Because they have elevated income, they have elevated impact. So we have to be committed to being visible and stop hiding. We have to be committed to charging more. We have to be committed to going a little bit harder because guess what? It's all the work we're putting in, all the seeds that we're sowing. We got to have an expectation that they're going to be planted and they're going to be fruitful and that we're going to be prosperous. But we have to do the work to match the things that we truly desire. And it starts with you being an influential leader.
Income, influence, and impact. I love that. That was so good. It reminded me of I went to a conference a couple years ago, many years ago, Grant Cardone with one of his 10X conferences. And one of the first things that he said is that people cannot buy from you if they don't know you. So that's
Mhm.
one of the great things, like, when you talk about income, influence, and impact, that know, like, and trust ability and you being seen is very, very, very important. Another thing that I remember, Myron Golden once said is that people are looking for you, so you have to become findable. So, and a lot of those things come around, the marketing and the content that you're putting out there. So I love that you have this income, influence, and impact philosophy that you're using to kind of build your digital brand. I'm going to say your digital brand empire. And I hope you receive that, because I know you are a spiritual person. So just take that all in and let that go all out. You on Money Mondays with Jeff, where we talk to dope financial professionals and we get strategies on how to close the wealth gap here in America. Today, we're talking to Dr. Shadé Adu. She's a digital strategist, and we're talking about digital branding strategies and ideas. And she just went over a great philosophy that she utilizes in building a digital profile around income, around influence, and around impact. Now, I know you've worked all over the world. I mean, you started your business actually outside of the United States, right? So one of the things I want to know is, like, you had a language barrier, you had so many different things, as well as, like, business systems in overseas is a little bit differently than some of the business systems here. So what kind of unique challenges did you face, or when and or let me rephrase the question: what are some of the unique challenges a digital brand strategist could face if they're working with different cultural contexts, like, throughout the world? Like, how could you bridge the gap if you had someone that was working in different cultural contexts?
So that's a great question. I'm gonna take it back. Before I started my business, I shared this with someone. So prior to this, because I've been in business for almost 10 years, I had some of these back in the day stories I haven't been sharing as much. So prior to going to the Republic of Kazakhstan, I lived in Philadelphia. I don't know if you knew that, but I
I
lived in
did not know
Philadelphia.
that. What part of Philly did you live in?
I get around, but I lived
What
in
part of Philly did you
Philadelphia.
live in? Because I'm a
I
I'm a
lived in
Philly guy.
University City.
Okay.
Um, I lived there for a year.
Okay.
And that's how I got to Kazakhstan. If I never moved to Philadelphia, I would have never went to Kazakhstan. And when I
Okay.
was in Philly, I was student teaching. I wanted to be at West Philadelphia High School at the time. I was like, send me to the hood. That's where I want to be with my people. That's where I'm supposed to be. But you know how life and God has it. That's not where they sent me. They sent me to Northeast Philadelphia to teach at one of the most diverse schools in the country. These students speak about 42 different languages. I'm in a Russian area of Philadelphia. It was preparing me for my next level. So teaching at a diverse school, my students spoke Russian, Spanish, and all these different languages that you can imagine. So when the opportunity came to me to move internationally, my students didn't say, "Where are you going?" They said, "You don't speak Russian. How you going there?" Like they knew where I was going. They was just like, "How you going there? Like you don't speak Russian. Like what you gonna do?" And they was just like concerned. They was like not phased, and so it prepared me for that next level. Being in diverse settings. My family's bilingual. My father's from Ghana, West Africa. My mother's American. So I grew up in a bicultural, bilingual household. I was used to different languages and different customs and different ways of being. So that was just my livelihood growing up in New Jersey. My teaching experiences have also been international and multicultural. So what you learn is the same thing I would say. You got to people are people. There are some things that we all value and care about. A lot of that's going to be around family, culture, food, history. So when I am talking to someone internationally, what can I do to resonate and relate with them? So if it's telling them a story about, if I know that they speak Russian, I might gavaru chuchu paruski. I might start speaking Russision. And then they're like, wait a minute now, you speak Russian? It throws people off. I forgot. I don't talk about these things as much anymore. I might start speaking Russian, hood Russian. Okay. Listen, I'm still from Jersey. I speak a little
Not
hood
not
Russian.
not the hood Russian.
Hood Russian will get you around. I tell people you can drop me off in Moscow right now and I'll be good to go. Okay. Because I know hood Russian.
I love that.
I can hold my own. And just being able to relate and resonate with people. And I've seen people from around the world sharing stories. I've been to over 30 different countries. So understanding people, understanding history, understanding culture, and understanding that you don't have all the answers and being as respectful as possible with people is important, and listening to their stories and understanding their history and giving people a chance. We all have something about us. And another piece of how we resonate is through storytelling. Every culture, race, religion tells stories in some way, shape, or form. So storytelling is a great way to resonate with people.
I love it. I love it. I want to switch gears here because I know that you are an author as well, right?
Yes.
So I'm an author as well. And one of the things that in writing my books, I always want to the message that I want to leave, especially when I'm writing about life insurance and wealth building strategies. One of the things that I want my readers to always take away from reading my books is that life insurance is one of the greatest financial products that you can have in your portfolio. And when you use it and leverage it in the right way, it can be a great way to replace your income at death and also to buy assets that's going to be able to produce passive income. So, as an author, right, what is one of the key things that you hope when someone read your books that they take away? What is the big message that you want them to take away from reading your books?
Most of the books that we've done are like anthologies, and I want them to be inspired. This next one, this book, The Art of Influential Leadership, I guess I'm put it out there. It's coming out.
Come on, come
Um,
on. Hold on.
is
When is it coming out?
See, don't do that.
You know,
See,
success
don't
loves speed. You
do
know, success
that.
loves speed.
Okay.
When are you coming out with it?
Okay, put me on the spot.
That's right.
Um,
You heard it here first on Money
okay,
Mondays with
I'm gonna
Jeff. When's this
say
book coming out?
The Art of Influential Leadership will come out in Q4 of this year because I
All
have
right,
another
you
book
heard it
that's out.
first.
Q4, Art of Influential Leadership. I'm still fleshing out exactly what I want to say, but I want that to be um kind of like my seminal text, like like you know how Mike McAllowitz has like this profit first. You know these seminal books that people are known for. That's the
Yes.
concept that I want to be known for. Building influential leaders, where we talk about leadership development and marketing, leveraging digital marketing strategies to help people become better leaders and be perceived as better leaders. That's where this next decade of my life is going. How do I build better leaders? Because if we can build better leaders, we can build better teams and we can build better people. We build better people, we can make better communities and better worlds. So it's about it's stepping into my own thought leadership and stepping into who I was born to be, and finally being comfortable with that person. So, what I want people to get through, I think through some of the books, there's been a trend. It's usually like Thomas the Engine. I think I can. I think that's kind of the stories that I told in some of these previous books. I'm navigating like, should I do this? The first like anthology was like, I'm renegotiating my greatness. Should I do this? Should I take a leap of faith? When I first started, I was in a relationship. I thought it was going to end in marriage. And I took a leap of faith to do this business thing and do this PhD thing. And it ended that relationship, which was what it was supposed to do. In hindsight, listen, I ain't upset. I'm okay. But at that time, I was very conflicted because I had traveled the world. I did what people said. I had the degrees. I wanted to settle down and have a family. I want to have children. But I knew that there was more for me to do at that moment in time. So it was a tug of war. So then I take the leap of faith, that relationship ends, and then I'm having these debates about, should I go bigger? I'm playing small because I'm afraid of my own shadow. I'm scared of what people are going to think. I'm intimidated by people who are in the marketplace who make six figures and who make millions, who I feel like are better than me, are smarter than me, who have more results than me. So then I was committed to being, producing results. And then life, right? So I'm still going back and forth like, am I good enough? Can I do this? So now we're in this new conversation is, listen, you've been doing this for a decade. You know how to do something. Own it. The receipts, the evidence is there. So we're not going to act like we're not good enough. We're going to be the boss that we are, and we're going to own every ounce of our amazingness and our exceptionalness, and we're going to be paid for it. So now in this next season, I done learned all the lessons. I got the battle wounds, the scars, and the weight gain to prove that I learned the lessons. So now in this next iteration of my life, it is time to ascend into the level of leadership that I deserve and desire, because it's my birthright. I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to have millions. I'm supposed to have influence. I'm supposed to lead national and international leaders. They're supposed to ask me for advice. So now this next part of my life, career life, business life, is stepping into that person.
I love it. I love it. One of the things that I've watched you over the years and also read in your bio is that you credit mentoring as being a big part of your developmental process. And one of the key things of how you keep getting success is because you have partnered with great mentors. What's one piece of advice that you often give to your mentees that your mentors have given to you?
Oh, that's good, because one of my, life principles is multi-generational leadership and mentorship. So you need to learn from people that have light years ahead of you. You also need to be learning from people who are younger than you and getting advice from them, seeing how they would handle the same things. And you also need to mentor as well. So you need to continuously be mentored. And you also need to mentor other people. So the things that I tell them, well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a Black girl from Jersey. My mother was a teenage mom. Half the things I'm telling people that are in their 20s, enjoy your 20s, and take care of yourself and your body. I'll leave it there. That's the things that I'm saying to young women. I'm like, listen, you got opportunities to go, make money, live the life that you desire. invest in real estate, get your life insurance, do your like learn from us. Like if somebody's 10 years younger than me, I'm like, listen, you got the blueprint to be a millionaire by 30 or what, whatever the case is. Like you have that level of success. Just don't F it up. Like play the game the way the game need to be played. Don't let it play you. So that's what I'm really saying to them. Like, listen, stack your money. Don't be in debt unnecessarily. If you want to make decisions about higher education, make strategic decisions about higher education and live life, travel, live your best life. You can, mine's like, you can date and do all that stuff later. Like, get your money and get focused. That's what I want to tell them at the younger people. That has, you know, been a part of the success, being able to like really focus on my goals and aspirations so that I can go again into this next part of my life and settle down and think about marriage and family and children. And I'm very vocal about that now in this part of my life. Like that's what I want. It's not an either or, it's a both and. So I'm not willing to sacrifice that anymore in my life. So it has to be included in this next iteration of what I'm creating. But I tell them, like, if you can delay it, do it and do the work that you need to do on yourself now. Go to therapy. That's another one I add in there too. Work on you because the life you desire is going to require the best version of you. So if you can work on you every single day, you are your best asset. It will tremendously make a difference in your life.
So how do you feel mentorship adds or enhances your vision for the future?
You don't have to think of things yourself.
Okay.
If we want the cheat code to life, business, success, ask somebody who's already done it and who's had massive success with it and who's done it well. Why do I got to figure this thing called life out myself when there's history, there's books, there's people who've done it? And I prefer to just ask them straight up, like, how did you do it? I want to go straight, what is it, straight to the source. And there's something that I was working on right now because there's some transitions happening in my business, some things that we're letting go, and some things I want to do differently. And I was sharing it with a mentor. We have a mutual mentor, and we were having dinner, and he was like, you should do this. That idea was never even on my radar. I was ready to be like, I'm not doing that. And he was like, well, you should do it this way. It didn't even occur to me that that was an option or something that was even something I should do. So now, because I got that piece of advice, we're moving forward in that direction. That was not an option prior to having that conversation. And that's because this is another key piece. Your mentors need to be mentored as well. So because he's in other spaces, in other rooms, he got some information and he was like, I did this training. And because of that, now this is the advice I want to give you. Before I probably wouldn't have gave you this advice, but because I did some work on me, this is the advice I want to give you. So I highly recommend mentorship. It expedites the learning curve. You don't have to do this alone. You don't got to figure it out. People have built businesses before. People have been successful. They've had successful relationships. They've lost weight before. You don't got to figure this out. Why do we got to start from scratch? That's our problem with Black wealth. We are starting from scratch. Whereas if we look at our white counterparts, them folks got inheritances, trust funds, relationships. They have capital, relational capital. We started from scratch. We cannot afford to start from scratch every generation. Like enough is enough. So if we can get a leg up and get a door open, we can change the trajectory of our generations. It doesn't have to be that our net worth is $100 or whatever the numbers are. The numbers are abysmal. We have the capacity to change that for our lineage. And that's why this is so important.
That is so powerful. I was at church yesterday at the family church, Pastor Ted, Pastor Dawn over at the in New Jersey. And one of the lesson yesterday, and I'm gonna relate it to mentorship, and he was basically the whole service was around you can learn through experience or you can
Mm,
learn through instruction. And
mm.
the big question was how much would your life be better if you learn through instruction instead of having to go and learn the hard way through experience. So
Listen.
I thought that was
Mhm.
very powerful in how we attribute that to mentorship and make that connection, because a lot of times the mentor has already made all of the bad mistakes, so they can be able to give you some better instruction on how to like craft your narrative, because it's easier to learn through instruction than it is through experience. So I just thought that was very powerful, in making that connection to mentorship. And I love how you kind of,
Absolutely.
you kind of painted this picture on how mentorship not only is it important, but how it also has helped you in helping you in enhancing your future. I love it. So if you're looking ahead, right? Tell me about some of your goals that you have for yourself, and more importantly, I like to talk about legacy, because I think legacy is so very important. Like, what legacy do you want to leave behind, particularly in the space that you're in with the digital marketing?
Okay, so the legacy in digital marketing. That is a good question. I don't have a full answer for that. I have a legacy of like maybe my life, but where do I want to be? So I understand that what we're doing right now is not the thing I have to do forever.
Oh,
So I've been talking to people because, again, I want to learn from instruction and higher level mentorship. And one of the questions that I've been asking this year to people who've built businesses, sold businesses, made millions, and made tens of millions, hundreds of millions is, when did you know it was time to transition and pivot? When did you know you did this one thing, but now it's time for you to do something new? And I've been asking this question throughout the year because,
that's a
again,
great
we're going
question too.
to year 10. I'm antsy. I know I'm supposed to be doing some new things. I know that there's you get agitated before transformation. For my mentor, Lisa Nichols, the first sign of transformation is ahead in your path is agitation. You're aggravated, you're frustrated, you're mad. You're not okay with your status quo. What used to make you comfortable and okay, you're not okay no more. So that's the first indication that there's something else coming. So I know transformation and some pivots are happening because if you don't want to move, God gonna move you either way. So it's gonna happen. So I've been asking them, and they said they see signs, and some of it is signs in the market. When the market is shifting, it may be time for you to transition and pivot. Um, Signs in you, your family structure, your life structure, financial structure, your health. Some things are just going to be natural changes and pivots. So for me, my legacy is not necessarily going to be attached to digital marketing. It's going to be attached to the brand that I built is going to be able to transition into whatever else we're moving forward and doing. And what I understand is just like when other people, Rihanna got into beauty, lingerie and makeup, you leverage the brand that you've already built in one industry and you can leverage it in a new industry, and the learning curve is faster. So I'm taking the things that I've learned and I'm going to take them into this next rebrand or reiteration of my life. Will that 100% involve digital marketing? Digital marketing will be included in some way, shape, or form. But over the next 5, 10 years, I have no idea. And I'm flexible and open to what that's going to look like. But what I'm committed to is making sure that my children have way more than I ever had. What I'm committed to is my grandchildren and great grandchildren that I may never meet have something that they're going to be like, my grandmother, my great grandmother did this and she left me this. She left me an inheritance. She didn't allow me to start at zero.
Mm.
She made a
She gave me
difference
a
in
head
the
start.
she gave me a super speed highway head start. She gave me
Mhm.
the game. So now I'm able to live my life to my fullest potential. I made all the mistakes. I took on all the risk so that they could have a better life.
It's funny. I was we just got finished having our conference this last past weekend, and one of the things that I talked about and stayed on is like, giving the future generation a head start. Like, how much more creative? We already are some creative people. What more could we do with our creativity if we had some financial resources to back that creativity
Mhm.
up? And I think it's time that we start to change the narrative. And by faith, I think that this is going to be the next phase of what wealth creation is going to look like. That whole giving aspect and making sure that the next generation is going to have some resources, financial resources, mentorship, financial resources, as far as with mindset and things of that nature, how to build strategic partnerships. That's all a part of it, and I think that's going to be very important. So, I read in your bio that you are a very, very, very spiritual person. So God has a big influence, and the big G influences a lot of the decision making that you make. So I want you to talk about a little bit, like, how has your spirituality influenced your approach to business, and more importantly, to building your digital brand?
Yes. So my core, what is it? There's the strengths finders test, and there's like 24 strengths. And my highest level strength has always been spirituality, my belief in God and my faith. Starting this business was a faith walk. I tell people I was completely happy being a teacher. And if I would have stayed internationally by now, I still would have made $1 million. I probably have $1 million net worth being a teacher because I was doing well for myself in my 20s. Um, and but I took a leap of faith because there was something more for me to do. And when God tells you you got to do it, you got to be obedient and go do it. Now, this is not what I wanted to do. This is not the most ideal situation. I didn't like taking risks. I can teach, I have a degree in history. One of the things that I can teach is economics, and economics told me that you got to be willing to take risks. And I didn't like that idea. But I understood that God has more for me, and anytime I have ever doubted it, I've ever felt like, man, God, like this is too much. He's made it happen. So I had to just believe. So it was a faith walk and understanding. And even in this season, life is not perfect. I was home this weekend, home kind of snapped me into reality. And I was like, we ain't rich yet. We got work to do. I was like, wait a minute. It was comfortable. And I looked around and I said, we ain't rich yet. We got work to do. And even though life is not perfect, you know, business has been a challenge. It's been a tumultuous year for a lot of us. I'm still grateful. I'm in gratitude. I'm like, God's about to turn, like, it's about to be phenomenal. There's going to be wealth in this season. When you feel like a season is barren, it's a beautiful opportunity for some massive things to happen. And God is just going to
Yes,
show up in a massive way. He's going to get the praise for it too. So
yes.
I
Come
just,
on.
we just got to be faithful and have like crazy faith. And it's going to work. And that's just what I believe. I don't got no other choice. This is where where we are. And I don't there's a knowing. Like you gotta at some point you get to a point where you're like, okay, you just gotta know. And your faith has to be strong enough for you to know that what God told you is real. And there will be evidence and signs of what he said being real. And there's some things that I prayed about and I asked, I was like, God, please, like, you got to give me some answers. Cause I navigate and negotiate. I don't know about what other people do, but I be asking questions and I get an attitude with it. And I say, this what I'm supposed to be doing, what's going on with this, because I don't understand why I'm complaining, I cry, I do all the things. And there's one aspect of my life of I get constant reminders of what you desire is going to happen. And I'll be like, you sure about it? Okay, I'm gonna go with it. And if that can happen, and if I can get constant confirmation and reminders of something that I've prayed for a long time that can happen, why can't these other things happen? Like millions ain't no big deal to God. Like that's drops in the bucket. Whatever circumstance I'm going through, there's other people that have gone through that circumstance. It's a drop in the bucket. Um, I was looking at some show on like one of these streaming networks. It was just a preview. Some ranch or something. It was like a reality show. And this business, they were like in 200, $300 million, like $100 million worth of debt or whatever, maybe $50 million worth of debt. They were like, yeah, we're $50 million in debt, but we're going to ask the bank for 100 million. I said, if they have faith to get 100 million from the bank and they in $50 million worth of debt, why can't I have faith for my little stuff? I was like, they was confident about it. I said, oh, I don't got problems. They out here saying, oh, we're gonna ask for it. We're gonna get it. I was like, "What?" It was a couple of million. It was 8 figures. And I was just like, huh? And I said, hey, if these people can believe their way out of their situation, why can't I get out of mine with faith too? Faith and work. Let's be clear. We still doing work. We ain't
Right.
just praying. We doing work as well. So that's
Right.
important.
God, God loves momentum, and especially when you move.
We got to move.
That's right. Just move. So we're on Money Mondays. Ooh, I'm loving this conversation with Dr. Shadé Adu. I'm loving it. We're talking wealth building strategies to close the wealth gap here in America. Today, we're talking about digital branding strategies and how you could get that digital dollars working in your behalf so that you can close the wealth gap and that you can enhance your money kingdom and your money future by utilizing and building these digital strategies. Hope you're getting some value out of this conversation today. I want to switch gears again and as a digital brand strategist, what's your favorite gadget? Because I know a lot of people have a lot of different tech gadgets. Like, what is that one tech
Ooh.
gadget that you just could not live without?
I mean, besides the cell phone, I
Yeah,
mean, I'll be picking it up. The phone be ringing. I just be looking at it. What's my gadget? Oh my goodness. Oh, and I was like, gadgets. I mean, I love my computer. What's a good? Oh, that's a good. Okay, so my favorite gadget right now, I guess, is it's like I guess it's like those Apple iPods or whatever. It's not the Apple version, but it's called Tile. And it's like it's kind of like a beeper. It connects to you could put it on a remote, we put it on the keys. So whenever we lose, it's a locator. So whenever
okay.
we lose something, we can find it. That's probably one of my favorite ones because we didn't lost the keys, we lost my little phone, them trackers, that GPS tracker on the remote, that thing is a game changer. I would say my tile products that I got from Amazon. I'm trying to think of something else. Um, what I like to travel a lot. So buy extension cords because we have so many gizmos and gadgets. I travel with multiple extension cords, and some of them have the USB ports connected to the extension cord because we got so many things we need. Like, I got another computer right here. We got all kinds of stuff. Everything needs to be charged accordingly. So I think my extension cords and my tile, whatever it's called, locator, are probably my favorite things. Um, yeah, probably. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't have that many gadgets on me like I used to. I used to be the gadget girl. But outside of my computers, and my chargers and my plugs, things like that make me excited. I'd be like, I need my cords. I'm a bag lady with a whole bunch of cords and gizmos and gadgets. So that's what I would say I like.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. If you could collaborate with any figure in the digital world, digital strategist, someone that you admire, or someone in the business world, who would it be? And more importantly, what would you guys create together?
Ooh. Okay, so well, people probably don't know this, but my answer usually is Chris Jenner. That lady knows how to
Really?
build brands. Yep. I need to
Okay.
talk to Chris. We need to she gonna add me in as a Kardashian daughter of hers. And we're gonna have some business conversations. Chris
Dr.
Jenner
Sade,
is
Dr. Sade Kardashian. That got a nice little ring to it.
the people would be so mad at me. Um, Chris Jenner, like how she navigates the world, how she negotiates for her children, how she literally, as the momager, has created generational wealth like through contracts and negotiation, knowing what to ask for on behalf of her daughters and family members, and then the next generation, like they ain't got to worry about money ever. Um, I think Kris Jenner is a fascinating person to watch out in that family and how she navigates wealth and how she handles negotiation of her children. On the digital
What would you
space, in
what
the
would you
digital,
create together?
what will we
What would you
create? Oh
Yes.
man, we got to create something. I was
Mhm.
gonna say we about to create a trust. No, we need to create we need to do some type of marketing campaign. Maybe it's on TV, maybe it's digital. Um we need to negotiate some deals. So because she's a great negotiator, I would see how she could bring me in to negotiate a 7-figure or 8-figure deal to do something, whether it's training development, whether it's doing something with TV and digital marketing campaigns. But I would want that to be like a 7-figure, 8-figure opportunity. That's what we would be negotiating. How can we take over if it is leadership development and training, if it's just on the digital side, or are we creating some courses? Chris Jenner has a master class on branding. Maybe we're going to create an entire university and academy about how she built this, and we get her children to make some classes for us. So now we have a 5-figure, not a 5-figure, a 8-figure, possibly even 9-figure revenue stream through digital products, trainings, and services. People would love to learn how to be the Kardashians. That's easy to sell. And then we add some physical products on the back end of that. They already have the infrastructure. That's what I would want to do. I want to do digital products, and I want to do some TV and some physical products to add on the back end, because they already had a distribution. They already know who to contact. They already have the influence. We can make millions, multiple millions together.
So you already crafted out the idea here on Money Mondays with Jeff. So make sure you send
You
me my
heard it here.
10%. You make sure you send me my 10% when you make it happen, girl. Okay.
I just put it out there. God is good. Things happen. You know,
I know that's right.
I've said things. I've said I wanted to connect and meet with people, and months later, years later, I'm in rooms and spaces with these people.
Call
So
those things that be not as though they were. That's what I always say.
Chris, it's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Come on now. So when you're not working, right, and you always working, and when you're not building brands, and you always building brands, and when you're not speaking at workshops, and you always speaking at workshops, and when you are not running your own conferences, and Lord knows you are always putting on your own conferences, what's your favorite way to kind of like unwind and just have a little bit of fun?
I enjoy being in my bathrobe, watching Hallmark movies,
Oh my gosh.
water, some smoothies. Anybody can find me on a given Friday night if I'm
That's
home.
how you have fun?
Yes, enjoying my Hallmark movies. People don't believe it. I'm an introvert and I like staying at home. So when I'm at home, I'm at home and I enjoy it. Outside of having my introverted time for myself, I love spending time with my family. I have, 13 nieces and nephews. I have a large family. I have hundreds of cousins, and we have a good time together. So outside of business time, spending time with them is important. And when I was home this weekend, I was spending time with my nieces and nephews. They was grabbing me, saying, "Don't go." I was like, "I got I'll see y'all later." But just even if it's just for a day, for a couple of hours, spending time with them, letting them know that they're important to me. Today is one of my niece's birthdays. She turned 25. That they're important and they're valuable, and I want to be a part of their lives. And that was one reason I left overseas. I want to be a part of their lives. If they have a birthday, a holiday, something coming up, I want to be a part of that. And our family has been really great at setting that standard. We show up to birthday, that we have a family group chat, and somebody's graduating and they like, we come into the graduation and we're doing this together, and this person is doing this, and we always find time to be together. And I think that's really important.
I love it. I love it. I never thought that you would be the Hallmark
Oh, I love
watcher in the
it.
robe.
Oh my goodness, it's like spring into love right now. Then they had, and then now they do the Christmas movies on Friday nights, so I can watch Christmas all year round. At any given time, I'm watching a Christmas movie. So like, this is my happy place. After this, when I finish sometime tonight, I'm gonna go back to my Hallmark movies. I'm excited.
Got you. I got you. So we all have a guilty pleasure, right? Especially when it comes to online content. We all like to watch that ratchet stuff online. What's one type of content that you just can't help to click on whenever it comes up on your scroll line?
Ooh, guilty pleasure?
I'll tell you, for example, for me today, I was caught up in listening to the Chris Brown diss on
Oh, that was a good
Quavo,
one. I was
and I
like,
was
"Ooh,
like, "Woo!" They done boy see Breezy out.
Chris Brown is mad, mad." I said,
Man,
"Quavo,
who
you should have
tell it?
did that." So I do like to be entertained by what's happening on the internet. Like I hang out on the internet, but I'm of this community and culture too. So whatever is relevant, what's happening, I like to be in the know. Somebody who runs their business on social media, part of that is us being a part of it. It's not always about business. Yeah, you should be talking about your business. You talk about Chris Brown. So what? We are humans. We deserve to have some fun every once in a while. What's my guilty pleasure? I mean, I enjoy maybe Jason Lee, but I don't really feel like he's a guilty pleasure. I like to hear his interviews of people. I love to see the new rappers and just learn about them. Even if I don't know their music, I like to watch their interviews. So whether it's the Breakfast Club, Jason Lee, I loved Wendy Williams. That was my guilty pleasure, not so guilty pleasure. Um, but watching those interviews and listening to what their thought process like and how they got famous and how they're leveraging it and handling fame. Maybe my guilty pleasure is just this fascination with Sexy Red. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. She's an interesting character to me. She's very much interesting, and I'm watching her kind of evolve as a brand. And it's a really fascinating thing with the new music from where she was, Pound Town to now. It's very fascinating. Now I don't agree with the stuff this girl do, but she got some bops that the older folks are liking now. So I think she's gonna break out, and I'm really fascinated to see her brand grow. So those are the kind of things I like to look at.
One final thing. I know. We like to keep these to an hour, and we're a little bit over our time a little bit. But I want you to talk about your upcoming conference that you have,
Mm.
and then I would like you to also, close us out with something spectacular.
So we have the Girl Your Brand's a Big Deal conference, June 6th, 7th, and 8th in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're bringing the queens to Queen City. And our keynote speaker is the fabulous, the iconic, the legendary Kim Coles. You know her from Living Single. She's an actress, comedian, and I'm super excited that she will be joining us in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're about 45 days out, and we're just looking forward to this conference is for women entrepreneurs, experts, coaches, speakers, and brand builders who want to build those six-figure, I would say seven-figure businesses. And you want to do it the right way. You want to do it in community. You want to execute. You have a gifting, you have a passion, and you don't know how to package it. You need to be in the room, get your tickets, get your seats, get your spot at the Girl Your Brand's a Big Deal conference. So I'm going to do something special, since if you find out from here,
That's
what
right.
I'm going
Come
to
on,
do, we have not
give them a
done this.
special offer.
You said special.
Come on, give
So
them an offer.
I guess we're going to do wealth. I was going to say wealth 24, right? So I know it's from Jeff the Wealth Builder.
No,
That's how I
do
know.
cash value 24.
All right. See, listen. So we're gonna have a coupon code in the next 30 minutes. Cash value. By the time you see this, it'll be there. Cash value. I'll just do cash value. And we will give you $100 off. Maybe it'll be more. $100 off your ticket. You definitely want to be there. It's 2.5 days for general admission, 3 days for VIP. If you're gonna roll VIP. And if you use cash value as your coupon code, you'll be able to get a discount. We want to see you at the conference. You know what? Because I'm feeling special, we're going to say it's a $200 discount if you use the coupon code cash value. Okay.
I
So
love it.
use this code, and I will make sure that it is working within the next 30 minutes. And if you have an issue with it, just send me a message. Cash value is the code, and we are looking forward to seeing you. If you know experts, if you are someone who has a gifting, you're in corporate and you want to start building your brand, get to the Girl Your Brand's a Big Deal conference. It's going to be transformational, and it's going to be a game changer for you, and we can't wait to see you there.
Tell us the dates
Oh,
again, and drop the
June
website again.
6th, June 6th, 7th, and 8th in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the website is thebigdealconference.com. Thebigdealconference.com.
And when you use the coupon code cash value, you're going to get a
You
big $200 off. So
all.
make sure
Yes.
you go use that coupon, go get your ticket, and we'll see you guys in Charlotte.
We will see you in Charlotte. We're going to have a phenomenal time. Like, we're gonna have a good time. Um, if you have never been to an event like you ain't never been to an event like this, okay? Because I have never been to an event like this where we co-create it, we collaborate together, and it's just going to be something powerful. There's something phenomenal and powerful that happens in the space in the room. And if you know you're looking for transformation, if you know you have a gifting and you know this is your assignment, get to this conference. Make it happen, figure it out, and go just get in the room. There's power being in the room. I've
I'll
met
make sure I'll
mentors.
put that. I'll make sure I'll put the website and in the show notes with the coupon code so everyone can get a chance to participate in what you're building in Charlotte, June 6th, 7th, and 8th. TheBigDealConference.com. Go support Dr. Shadé Adu and what she's building. Go learn some digital branding strategies, some messages. Go meet some dope individuals. It's going to be a great people that's in the community that you can network with. You know, your next great mentor, your next great business partner, your next great business friend could be at that conference. So I want you to make sure that you go and attend. Dr.
It's
Shadé
more.
Adu, thank you for being on Money Mondays with Jeff,
Thank you
where we
so
talk
much
to
for
dope
having
financial
me.
professionals. Yes, indeed. Have a great day. Bye bye.